Stuart Skinner said after Florida went up 3-0 that if anyone can do it, it's the Oilers. He was talking, of course, about mounting a comeback from a 3-0 series deficit, and that's only been done 4 previous times in NHL history. I didn't think it at the time, but he might have been right. We'll get to Game 6. We're within 50 subscribers of 1,000, though, so please scroll down and hit the subscriber button to help us here at Oilers Digest reach that goal of ours. So, how did things change so drastically? 1 week ago, suggesting that we'd be heading to a Game 7 on Monday was closer to a pipe dream than anything else, much less an actual, genuine prediction. But the Oilers have cleared all 3 hurdles on the way, Games 4, 5, and 6, and we have a final showdown in Florida. And of course, we have to start with tonight's game or last night's game, whenever you may be watching this video, and that's Game 6 in Edmonton on Friday night. And while many things for the Edmonton Oilers have drastically improved since Game 3, one thing that Edmonton still have been hoping can improve is the production of Leon Draisaitl. And Draisaitl himself has said as much, that he expects more and wants to make a bigger impact on the series. And we're going to get into this game, and he made an early impact on Game 6 very early. And he did so with one of the best passes we've seen in this series so far. Edmonton are going to break in on a 3-on-2. You can see Ekblad getting tangled up with Warren Foegele at the side of the net, and Draisaitl and Holloway are isolating Gustav Forsling here. And both Ekblad and Foegele get tied up and go down, and it's Foegele that ends up getting back to his feet first, and Gustav Forsling still covering Draisaitl and Holloway, so he's not really challenging Draisaitl very tight. Forsling doesn't know that Fogel's open. He's not expecting that Ekblad's lost him, so Leon Draisaitl recognizes this, and you see him take just an extra second before releasing a perfect saucer pass straight over to Warren Foegele, who made it look easy from there. That's his third of the playoffs, and it's 1-0 Edmonton early, and the Oilers dominated that first period of play, and you know, after any team will outshoot a team 11-2 through 20 minutes, you have to assume that their opponent is going to come out and push hard to start the second period. And Florida did in the second period as a whole. They outshot the Oilers 11-4, but Edmonton got on that board just 46 seconds in. Much like Leon Draisaitl, it was another Oiler who's been a little bit underwhelming in these playoffs. It was Adam Henrique who doubled the lead, and Mattias Ekholm starts it, and the Panthers' defense is changing. It's the first change of the period, and he rings it around the board to set up Matthias Janmark and Adam Henrique on the 2-on-1, and it's pretty textbook from there. Janmark does really well to hold before finding Henrique right in his wheelhouse. He holds on to the puck before he snaps it past the blocker of Sergei Bobrovsky. And now I'll sidebar a little bit. For those who, like me, grew up watching TSN, the quote TSN turning point was often a point of emphasis on SportsCenter, and it was supposed to represent the time in which the game changed, the time in which something happened that shifted the narrative or had the potential to shift the outcome of the game. And in my opinion, the Game 6 turning point was right here. So the Oilers have scored, it's 2-0, and then Florida get the puck right off the draw. Carter Verhaeghe drives his way and he throws it in front, and Alexander Barkov's going to end up scoring on his second kick at the can. They're getting the rebound into the back of the net. So the Panthers get the puck behind Skinner just 10 seconds after Henrique's goal, and if the Panthers get that goal in for Edmonton, all that momentum they just got from doubling their lead is going to evaporate in a second. And that brings me to the turning point here, and the turning point is Kris Knoblauch's decision to challenge this play for offside. It's razor thin, and the Oilers don't have a lot of time to make the call. There's 3 outcomes, of course. Either they don't challenge it, let the goal stand, it's 2-1. They challenge it, get it wrong, they're up 2-1, and now they're shorthanded. And obviously, best case scenario is they challenge it, they get it right, and it's 2-0 Edmonton. We go from here, and Knoblauch makes a gutsy call. He chooses to challenge, which means the Panthers are either going to have the power play and only be down by 1, or they're going to have the goal taken off the board. And if that goal gets taken off the board right after they score to make it 2-1, losing that 2-1 goal, all the wind is out of their sails in the process. It's so close, but it's deemed offside at the end, which must have felt like a punch in the gut if you're sitting on that Florida Panther bench. Florida kept pressing after that in the second period, but man, Stuart Skinner had the answer every time he was tested. Eventually, after some offensive zone time late in that period, Gus Forsling's going to send a hopeful shot towards the net that hits Ryan Nugent-Hopkins and ends up springing Zach Hyman on a breakaway. Hyman moves in, dekes, and makes no mistake, scores on his backhand to make it 3-0 Edmonton, and Edmonton ended up getting both goals in a second period that they were outshot 11-4. They outscored Florida 2-0. Going into the third period, it was less than 90 seconds into the third. Barkov would get one past Skinner that did indeed count, and he did so in really, really impressive fashion. It's a great solo effort and finish to make it 3-1, and the Panthers continued to push. They had the puck for long stretches of that period. They had offensive zone time. Every time they got the puck through, Stuart Skinner was there. And I'm going to talk a little bit more in a bit about the things the Oilers have improved upon to be back in this series. But in that third period, one of them was on display, and that's how much better the Edmonton Oilers have been in their own zone. The mistakes aren't happening as much, and they're focusing more on team defense. They're focusing more on defending as a five-man unit. And you saw in that Zach Hyman goal, it was a block from Nugent-Hopkins. Nugent-Hopkins and Hyman are the two high forwards on that play, but they combine. Nugent-Hopkins gets the block, Hyman's on the breakaway, and they score. That five-man defense of the Edmonton Oilers, along with good play from Skinner, keeps the Florida Panthers at bay. Ryan McLeod would add the first empty net goal before an amazing effort from Skinner kept the puck out of his net in tight and led to Darnell Nurse scoring the second empty net goal. That ends Game 6, 5-1 Edmonton, setting up Stanley Cup Final Game 7, which might be the best thing in sports, period. Plenty has improved for the Edmonton Oilers over the last 3 games, but the belief the team has continued to play with has been really admirable. Edmonton's play in their own zone has been a night and day change since the start of the series, and it's also hard to remember the last time Stuart Skinner looked anything but steady and confident in between the pipes. The last thing to talk about when it comes to the improvements the Edmonton Oilers have made is the fact that parts of this Oilers team that have been criticized by everybody, me included, goaltending, depth scoring, defense. Well, goaltending, depth scoring, and defense have all been so good in this Stanley Cup Final since Game 3. Like today, the first 2 goals of the game are off the sticks of Warren Foegele and Adam Henrique. Matthias Janmark making that play on that Henrique goal. Ryan McLeod, Darnell Nurse scoring to the empty net. It's amazing to see that this Oilers team, who, everybody in Edmonton knew they had it in them, but they've answered the bell, they've answered the criticism, they've improved on areas they need to improve upon, and it's put them 1 win away from the Stanley Cup Final. Edmonton's outscored Florida 18-5 since Game 3, and don't look all that stoppable right now. And the anticipation this weekend is going to be huge. I can't imagine being in that city of Edmonton as all the Oilers fans celebrate the fact that we're going to a Game 7 of a Stanley Cup Final after the Edmonton Oilers were down 3-0 in the series. Matt Pierce, Kirk Day, and I will have videos all week as the Oilers chase history. It's been 78 years since the last time a team has forced a Game 7 after being down 3-0 in the Stanley Cup Final. The last one was back in 1945, which means we've witnessed history already. Monday night is going to be, for lack of a better and quite frankly, for lack of a more serious term, absolute cinema to cap off what's been an electric and memorable Stanley Cup Final. Game 7's Monday, and I don't know about you, but I can't wait.